Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Meister's Tarot. Thank you for joining me again today. Lovely to have you along. What I wanted to have a look at today is there are discussions going ahead at the moment in regards to Ukraine's wheat and grain harvest is being harvested, but at the moment it has no way of shipping to the rest of the world or shipping its grain out. It does not have enough storage facilities to store all the grain it will be harvesting, and there are concerns that if the grain cannot get distributed, it will spoil because they can't store it all, but also other areas of the world that are reliant on those shipments for their to feed their people. There will be mass starvation and deaths occurring in regards to that. So there are talks going on at the moment, being led, I believe, by Lithuania and the United Kingdom to undertake a humanitarian effort, like a no-fly zone, to be able to bring ships into the port of Odessa in the Black Sea, to be able to ship that grain out to countries that need it. Now, obviously, Russia's saying no, and from all accounts on the ground, Russia is actually already stealing grain that has been harvesting and shipping it back to Russia itself. So I just want to have a look to see how this is going to go. For want of a better way to call themselves, if you're wanting to look it up on Google or whatever, the group of countries that are discussing it have called themselves the Coalition of the Willing, which has shades of Iraq and Iran conflict in it, so I'm not really terribly thrilled about that. And there are certain aspects that need to be undertaken. So the UK have given an assurance that the British Navy will provide the warships for the countries that want to send their own shipping to retrieve the grain, but it is very reliant on Turkey actually giving permission or being in agreement that the ships can bypass through the narrow gap into the Black Sea. So countries so far that are involved are the UK, Lithuania, Egypt. There are several North African countries, and there are several Middle Eastern countries as well. So I just want to have a look to see whether it'll go ahead, whether Turkey will allow the shipping to pass through. I mean, Turkey is also reliant on this grain as well to a certain extent. There have been other options looked at of taking the grain overland via Poland, etc. It is simply not viable. They cannot get the volumes out via truck to actually supply the areas that need it, and also then it needs to be taken to another port and then loaded onto ship truck by truck. It's just simply not viable. So what am I going to do? I will just do an overall Celtic cross just to see the energies behind this agreement, and then we'll nut down into some details in regards to Turkey. Now, they've been very clear that this is a naval escort. This is not a NATO exercise at all. Even though there are NATO countries involved, it is not a NATO issue. It is not a NATO discussion. Okay, so tell me, please, the overall energies in regards to... For those that are wondering, I will do a... won't shuffle while I'm discussing this. I will do a political reading into the NRA later this week. I just don't want to touch on it just yet, and I want to digest what happens in their what happened in their so-called conference of the other day. So I want to digest that. I want to digest a few other bits and pieces around what happened last week in Texas before doing that reading, but just be aware that I will be doing a reading on the NRA and the politics in relation to that later this week. So, okay, cut those energies out of this deck. Try that again. Thank you, Meister. Right. Celtic cross in regards to Ukraine, grain, getting to the rest of the world. Odessa, does it? Oh well, I haven't even asked that. Will it come out through Odessa? It's the main grain port. So you've got Mariupol, which I understand was the main steel port. Odessa is the main grain port. Tell me, please. Just a couple of cards. Oops, got them throwing out everywhere. Star of Hope. Giving and receiving help. It's not finalised at this stage. It is still in somewhat of an infancy. There will be boundaries that need to be set. This just keeps going on me. But then you've got wish fulfillment. The Queen of Swords, who brings forward wields her sword of compassion and truth. And the Empress, which is not Russia in this case, it is about the abundance. So I am getting that yes, it will, whether it's and then I've broken the deck, and it's the Empress, which is about the grain harvest, the abundance of the harvest, and the Sun, which is a yes card. So that's telling me that yes, it will come out through Odessa. Just please tell me Odessa. Yeah, it will. There will be some restrictions on it because the giving and the arrival and departure is reliant on this figure here, who is overseeing it all. But yes, I am getting that it will come out through Odessa. So I'm not going to discuss that. There is an agenda. We won't know the full details of the arrangement. But again, another yes card. What's that? That's keep getting these major arcana. That's another yes card. That fortunes, doors are closing, other doors are opening, and yeah, by sea. So it is telling me that yes, okay, that's 3 times Meister, so thank you. Can I please just have an overall Celtic cross reading in regards to grain being shipped out of? So if it's coming out via Odessa, that's telling me yes, that Turkey will allow the passing of the ships through. Okay, I'm just being told they will ask for compensation of some sort. Can't miss out on a deal. Bit of Australian sarcasm there. Couldn't possibly do it for humanitarian reasons, could they? Okay, that's unfair of me. That is unfair of me. Turkey's really put itself out on a limb in a few instances in regards to this conflict. Okay, full Celtic cross in regards to the grain harvest and export from Ukraine. Grain harvest and export, please. Grain harvest and export, please. Okay, thank you, Meister. For those that wonder why I shuffle sometimes for so long, there is a feeling to the cards when they reach a particular stage. Okay, 7 of Swords. This is the stealing from the armory. This is taking what does not belong to you, and I think that's what this is the signifier of this reading, and I think that's what is actually happening on many angles for Ukraine. Russia is trying to take land that doesn't belong to them. They're also stealing grain stores that do not belong to them at this stage. But I also keep going with this, please. So that's the here and now, being challenged by the Queen of Cups. So she is projecting, expressing compassion. So this is the humanitarian. This is the humanitarian organisation of this shipment. She has something in her cup, but in this particular deck, the cup is not covered. The cup is open. So she's very much about the feminine energy, diplomacy and calmness in regards to the humanitarianism of this action. Base is the King of Pentacles. So he is the protector. So as I mentioned, the British Navy, the Royal Navy, British Navy, are signing up to protect these ships, and I think what's going to happen is that naval vessels and aeroplanes from other countries are also going to join in purely on a humanitarian basis. But this is the protector, the health and wealth, the strength, the mentor. So I like that he's combined with the compassion. You've got the strength of the King of Pentacles there. Now, the Ace of Pentacles, if you remember this deck, this is my Gilded Tarot Royale. It has the Ace of Pentacles is the stag with the pentacle between its horns, between its antlers. Very, very much about strength and protection. So this is what this King of Pentacles energy is bringing at the base of this reading. In the past is the Page of Wands, so these are the negotiations going on at the moment. Still going on, but it is very much, this was the bringing of the idea of the negotiations. So this is in the past. They've moved past the ideas moment, and they've moved on to the how we can make it happen. Okay. Crowning the reading is the Tower. Now the Tower is always concerning because it has several meanings. This is the potential future. It could be utterly disastrous. If Russia decides or they have a rogue element in the Russian Navy or military, because what they're doing is the British Navy and the other navies that join will be pushing back the Russian fleet. It does have, this is only a potential, this is a potential future of it could be completely and utterly disastrous. However, the other way of looking at it is about breaking down the old structures so new can be rebuilt. So this is about breaking down the patriarchal, fascist authoritarianism so that the humanitarian can come to the fore. And this is the future for our world, is about breaking down this elitist in the Tower to bring forward the compassion and the humanitarian. So we'll see where this leads. So we'll keep on with this reading. It can go one or two ways, but hopefully it will tell us shortly which way. The immediate future is the investigation, introspection. What is happening at the moment is that they are looking at ways they can take the path forward past this snake, this snake in the grass. So what they're doing is they are looking into ways that it can be achieved, and this is the immediate future is what they're doing. They are running out of time. They have to be aware of that. So the external energies, Seven of Pentacles, which is about bringing in the harvest, but also being disappointed with the harvest. It's also about reaping what you sow, but there is disappointment in, even though this tree is full of abundant pentacles, it usually does signify that you notice the basket is empty, so there is a disappointment in what is actually available. So looking okay, thank you, Master. He does like to remind me during readings to read more into the cards. So you have this abundant harvest here, but you have the empty basket, and this is the external energies at the moment, is that the grain, the food sources is available and it is abundant, but we need to get it from the tree to these empty baskets, to the people that actually need it to be able to survive. So this is the external energies we're in at the moment. This is what they're dealing with, and they're very, very aware of it, the governments. The internal energy is the Page of Cups, bringing forward a message of hope, making an offer. There is something in the cup. Usually there's a fish, but in this particular deck there is no fish in this cup. Other decks I've got is, pigs might fly, dreaming what is possible. This is bringing forward an offer, but it is only a page. It is only tentative offer at this stage, and it's still in discussion. It is almost making, this is the internal influences in regards to this. This is within Ukraine. I'm actually getting a really strong pull to this is a plea, an emotional plea to allow this to happen. Do like that one, Hopes and Fears, the star. Very much yes. The hope and fear, yes. It's going to be okay. It's about sea and land. It's about balancing. It is about just hope. The star, beautiful. Really positive energies in the hopes and fears, and it is very much a hope. There's no fear there. Okay, immediate future, the outcome, that's potential future, immediate future they're discussing, but the actual outcome is the King of Cups. So you've got here the King of Cups here and the Queen of Cups here. This is the humanitarian need for this. This is the negotiators, the diplomats, those that are making it happen. But again, same as the King of Pentacles, he is in a position of power, he is in a position of authority and mentorship and protection. So you've got this diplomatic, calm energy being brought forward to make this happen. Temperance, yes. Temperance, moderation. And this is, and then the King of Swords. So we've got 3 kings in this reading so far. We've also got 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana. So this is telling me, take note. So we have temperance, which is balance and moderation, surrounded by the 2 kings. The King of Cups, the calm, diplomatic, positive energy. All kings are positive energy, but he's bringing forward this inclusionist emotional energy of compassion, very strong. And then you also have the King of Swords on the other side, who is your king of logic and wisdom and wielding the sword, so strength and power. So we've got these kings on either side of the Temperance and the King of Pentacles at the base of the reading, and then we have the Ace of Cups, which is an emotional overwhelming, but it is also a new beginning in regards to relationships. So I think, okay, thank you, Meister. He's telling me that this is another level in the world coming together, because this, in a lot of ways, this compassion, this humanitarian aid, it's not new, but it's new in this form. So it is a new beginning in regards to compassionate relationships, in regards to the turning of the cycle, seeing things from a different point of view. Pardon me. And then we have the slow and steady progress moving forward. It's not going to be easy. There is quite a difficult path to travel in regards to this, but it will be successful. It will be successful. Okay, there are decisions to be made, some difficult intellectual decisions to be made in regards to this, but it will be victorious, working together, and embracing the higher self, embracing the higher selves in regards to this. So that's all really positive. I'm really happy with that. I wanted to have a quick look to see whether Turkey will let the ships through, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. I might just have a quick look at how Russia is going to react. So I think what I'm really getting is with that tower that I saw, it's not about an attack, it's about breaking down of how things have been done in the past, and a new way of looking at the world, building these new relationships, these new structures in place, very much on the compassion angle. Okay, I just want to have a quick look now. These are my mystical manga cards, which are usually my political cards. But for Russia, this is very political. Now, when I say Russia, I do not mean the people of Russia. I know I say this all the time, but I'm really adamant that this is the case. It is not the people of Russia. It is Putin. It is his enablers. It is those who are doing whatever they are doing purely for power and greed. It's not. I'm not even feeling the oligarchs in this. I'm just feeling this core. Have a look on my reading on Putin that I did the other day, last week. Every time I read on Putin, I see his demise, and every time I do it, it's coming quicker and quicker. But okay, so what will Russia's reaction be to this grain shipping? What will Russia's reaction be? Okay, I'll try and analyse this and put it into words. I really just got this massive hit that Russia is going to want to be paid for it. Now, as I've said, when I'm talking about Russia, I'm not talking about the people of Russia. I'm talking about so Turkey will want financial compensation for allowing the shipping through into the Black Sea, but Russia is wanting the payment for the grain, doesn't want the money to go to Ukraine, is what I'm being told. Okay, let's have a look. Is this okay? How will Russia react? Is that the word I'm after? No, that's not the question I want to ask. Let me have a think about this. The question I want to ask is, will Russia interfere if they are paid for the grain? That's the question. Okay, will Russia demand financial compensation? Will Russia demand that it gets paid for the grain? Will Russia demand to allow this humanitarian convoy through, that it gets paid for the grain? Major Arcana, the Naught, the Zero card, the Fool, yes. Very much a yes. The Fool is normally stepping off on a new journey with faith and courage, but this one, to me, looks very paused. He has I suspect it's the sun, but it's so gloomy that it really reminds me of the moon, the murkiness, with his trusted dog. But I wouldn't say, he's not quite like one of my fluffy ones. This, to me, is very much about Russia being steadfast in that, yes, Russia wants to be paid for the grain. Mercenary. In this deck, in several of my decks, this is the mercenary card. So that's, heartbreak, loss, despair for Ukraine, loss, having to give it up. Another yes card, full illumination, or the sun illuminating what is going on, about just putting it out there, basically. It will be a difficult decision to be made. It will be burdensome. But I don't know that they have any choice. Okay, What will Russia's reaction be in regards to this humanitarian grain convoy? What will Russia's reaction be in regards to this humanitarian grain convoy? I'm disappointed. If you're feeling like me, I just feel so disappointed in that, but you know, what can you do? Well, you can say no and then you don't get the grain. It's sort of a bit over a barrel, really. If they say no and you say tough bickies and go in there, next thing you know, you've got a full-on naval war in the Black Sea. Don't want that either. Emotional overwhelming in regards to this. Probably what I'm feeling at the moment. Sorry, that might have been me coming through. Okay, what will Russia's reaction be to this? What will Russia's reaction be to this humanitarian grain convoy? What will Russia's reaction be to this humanitarian grain convoy? Sorry if you can hear Spot snoring away down there. It's my white dog. He's at my feet, snuffling away. Chasing rabbits, I think. What will Russia's reaction be to the humanitarian grain convoy? Okay, let's have a look. Come on down. At the moment, yeah, they'll consider it. Once they are approached formally, yeah, they'll look into it and consider it. This is quite a dark, for a hermit, this is quite a dark hermit. He is spiritual, but he doesn't look like he's particularly positively spiritual. Looks like he's trapped. Okay, Russia's feeling, okay, thank you, Meister. Russia is feeling itself very isolated. Financially, it's extremely isolated at the moment. It's recently cut off gas supplies to Finland, so it's not getting paid there. I'm not quite sure what's happening with Germany. I knew that was going to end at some stage. Russia's just really feeling financially really bereft and isolated at the moment. It does have, in regards to this, the position of strength. It does have the position of strength in regards to allowing this for this convoy to go through. It is coming from the stronger position. Base of the reading is the financial insecurity, hanging on to what they've got. Russia's really financially under the pump at the moment, and it is seeing that potentially they are in a position of strength to do something about it. In the past, the Page of Swords, so still only a page, but it is in the past, bringing forward the sword of truth, the sword of reality, and this is the past of the sort of reality being realised, that especially by these other countries, that this grain does need to get out for humanitarian reasons. So it's wisdom, intellect, truth. Can mean a spy in a camp, but I feel it's just bringing forward this on this new journey of a truth that needs to be faced in this time. It is a crossroads decision that has to be made. Again, the formal conditions haven't been brought forward, but it will be a crossroads decision for Russia, the Russia authorities to consider. Walking through this swamp, I mean, also it could be just simply water in the edge of the Black Sea, but it is a decision that they're going to have to make. So that's the potential future. It is a crossroads, and they don't know which way they're going to go at the moment. The immediate future is circles of support and coming together. So these are the countries led by the UK and Lithuania and Egypt in regards to, so you've got the three countries here leading this charge to make this happen. Okay, external influences, giving and receiving help, but very much in the financial manner. So I think what's going to happen is that Russia will allow it to happen, but it will want the financial compensation because at the moment it is financially bereft. Internally, they'll swing it as a victory. They'll swing it. The propaganda will be the message of victory in regards to this strength that they are wielding, the fact that they're blackmailing and holding to ransom, etc. Hopes and fears, it is going to be difficult. It is going to be burdensome. That is a hope that it will happen, that it will move forward, but there's also a fear that the message is it's just going to be really difficult to achieve. Outcome, Queen of Swords, like her, very good. Queen of Swords, moving on, and Knight of Wands. So he's an inspired message that comes forward. She's a harbinger, a compassionate harbinger of truth and reality and wisdom. This is via the sea. The truth is that the grain will come via the sea, and it will be an inspired move forward, that it will happen. And they will make it happen fairly quickly. I mean, the harvest is coming in shortly. They don't have a lot of time. Here's the investigators, the lawmakers, but also the leaders of the military. But I'm thinking that he ties in with her, that there is a truth and a wisdom that this does need to happen, and there'll be a contract made. It will be a difficult contract. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be comfortable, but there will be an agreement made. And then we have this Tower card again. Tower card and Wheel of Fortune again. 3 major arcana in a row there. 4 major arcana in a row. So 5. Gosh, and we keep going. 6 major arcana. Outcome. Difficult decision to be... drop those. Difficult decision. There will be a contract that this money will enter into, but there will be an agreement made that will change how things are perceived. There will be a breaking down of this old structure, and this will be one step in breaking down the ivory tower elitist system of the world in regards, and replace it with compassion. It will move forward very quickly. There will be things that won't be revealed in this contract. We won't know the full story, but it will open the door for this to happen. And then we have the Star of Hope at the end there. So, summary, yes, it is going to happen. There is going to have to be some financial compensation to various parties in regards to it. And it will also very dramatically change the way... we got Ace of Cups, King of Cups. It will very dramatically change the way that world order is viewed, actually. Okay, thank you, Meister. Just very bluntly, it will change how world order and how things are done on the world stage is viewed. It will break down the ivory tower. It'll break down the patriarchal dictatorship way of, even within capitalist countries, it will break down that barrier, and there will be a more softer, compassionate way of how we interact within countries and between countries in the future. Okay, thank you for joining me. That was pretty heavy and something to absorb, but that was positive news. Yes, I know, don't want to give them any money for it, but if it means the people of the world can be fed and not starved, then I'm all for it. Okay, thank you for joining me. Take care. Love to you all. Bye-bye.